The Wall Street Journal has brand new reporting on how Donald Trump and his Justice Department have not yet given up on their attempt to prosecute former U.S. Olympian David Hearn to cover up for the embarrassing fiasco that was the failed renovation of the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. According to that new reporting in the Wall Street Journal, White House officials have asked the Justice Department to consider a new prosecution of the man accused of vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, according to people familiar with the discussions. Norm Eisen, co-counsel for Hearn, said a new prosecution, quote, would mark a shocking first, bringing back from the dead a case that the DOJ lost by its own admission that it lacked the evidence to convict. This would add another bizarre turn to a sad chapter in the DOJ's history and further harass an innocent man. All of this comes ahead of a hearing set to be held next month, where the presiding judge in the last case will decide on whether to dismiss Hearn's charges with prejudice, which would mean that the Justice Department could not charge him again for the same alleged conduct. Donald Trump has used posts on Truth Social to call for U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro to revisit the case. We're back with Liz and Michael. I mean, we saw Jeanine Pirro carry in a white box ostensibly full of something to prove whatever it was her decision was here and not bringing the case. The lack of evidence was the assumption. Your thoughts on how much is already in the public arena about how there is no evidence of any criminal conduct on the part of David Hearns?
Yeah, it would be very difficult for this case to be brought back with any type of legitimacy. Jeanine Pirro made the case in a very detailed 20-plus page motion to dismiss that the reflecting pool was already badly damaged and that the government could not prove that Mr. Hearn caused additional damage exceeding $1,000, which is the requirement for a felony based on the evidence that exists. It is really quite scary, Nicole, to know that they are even considering going back to this case. Donald Trump's vanity is so great and his need to save face is so great that he has now put one innocent man in the middle of this situation as sort of the scapegoat to make good on his promise that vandals were the ones who actually damaged the reflecting pool. It is a very scary development for all of us. It's something that every citizen should be worried about, the idea that we could be targeted or scapegoated simply to allow the president to save face without any legal basis. The fact that his appointed U.S. attorney in D.C. has said that the evidence doesn't support this should end the matter right then and there.
What does it suggest, Michael Feinberg, that for all the attention and focus on known political or perceived political enemies, people like Jerome Powell or Jim Comey or Tish James, here's an ordinary American who happened to be by the reflecting pool while Donald Trump botched his attempt to turn it, American flag blue. What questions should we be asking about what other ordinary Americans are being attacked?
Well, I think at the risk of sounding like I'm lapsing into hyperbole, what this shows us is that every single American should be afraid of what this administration is trying to do. There has been zero evidence proffered to the public or to courts thus far that show Davy Hearn did a single thing wrong or took a single action related to what the government originally accused him of. The government itself said in dismissing its complaint that it did not have all the evidence at the time it brought the charge, and when the Department of Interior did put over everything that it knew, that there wasn't anything to convict Mr. Hearn on. And the president didn't like that outcome. So he ordered DOJ to try again in a misdemeanor court instead. And it's important to note, this isn't just the norm of a U.S. attorney's office not re-indicting somebody that's being broken. It's the norm, which is more important, that the president should not get to choose who goes to jail based on his wins. And the fact that this is not just being considered, but being argued in public by the president himself shows how far we have backslid as a democracy, frankly, but also how just manifestly unfit the president, his attorney general, and his U.S. attorneys are for the offices which they now hold. This is an utter disgrace on the entire history of the department.